It was exactly 2 a.m. I suddenly woke up, and when I opened my eyes, I saw a headless body lying right beside me. Before I could even understand what was happening, my whole body went cold and I instantly passed out. I still don't know how long I was unconscious. When I finally opened my eyes again, everything around me felt strange and distant. It was like I had been sinking in darkness for a long time. The dim yellow light in my room was still on. My heart was pounding so loudly it felt like someone was knocking from inside my chest. Slowly, I sat up, and then suddenly I remembered what I had seen just moments before. A headless corpse lying right beside me. My body trembled instantly. I quickly turned to look at the side of my bed, but there was nothing there, just my bed and shadows. I stared for a few seconds, trying to convince myself that it must have been a nightmare. I had seen bad dreams before, but never one that felt this real. I looked at the clock. 2:17 a.m. The room was unusually silent. Outside, the distant barking of dogs echoed through the night. I wiped the cold sweat from my forehead. It was just a dream, I whispered to myself. But then I noticed something strange. On the floor beside my bed, the ground looked wet. I slowly got down from the bed and looked closer. It looked like something wet had been dragged across the floor, leaving a faint trail leading toward the door. My heart started racing again. Was it really a dream? I slowly walked toward the door. The door was slightly open, but I clearly remembered locking it before going to sleep. I gently pushed the door open and looked outside. The hallway was dark. Only a thin beam of moonlight came through the window. I stood there for a few seconds, frozen. Then I remembered something. We had moved into this house only 3 months ago. It was an old house. Some of the neighbors had warned us that the place had stayed empty for many years. No one wanted to live here. At that time, I laughed and ignored their stories. But standing there in the silent hallway, I suddenly felt like maybe they were telling the truth. Just then, a sound came from upstairs. Thump, thump. It sounded like slow footsteps. The second floor of our house was completely empty. We hadn't even started using it yet. My throat went dry. It must be a cat, I told myself. But the sound came again. Thump, thump, thump. This time it was clear. Those were human footsteps. My hands and feet turned cold, and suddenly something terrifying came back to my mind. Right before I fainted earlier, the body I saw beside me seemed to move slightly. I shook my head. No, that's impossible. Suddenly, a loud noise came from upstairs. Bang! It sounded like something heavy had fallen. Before I realized it, I was already walking toward the stairs. Step by step, climbing upward, I felt as if someone was watching me behind. The air felt colder. When I reached the top of the stairs, I stopped. The hallway of the second floor was dark, but at the end of the corridor, a door was slightly open. Slowly, I walked toward it. My footsteps echoed through the empty house. When I reached the door, I peeked inside. The room was empty, but in the middle of the floor, there was an old wooden box. I was sure of one thing. That box was not there before. My heart began pounding again. I slowly walked toward the box. I reached out and touched the lid, and right at that moment, Someone whispered behind me, "You saw me." My entire body froze. Slowly, very slowly, I turned around. There was no one there, but suddenly the shadow in the corner of the room moved, and then I saw it clearly. Something was standing in the darkness. A human body, but without a head. It slowly began walking toward me. My legs felt stuck to the ground. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out of my throat. The figure stopped right in front of me, and at that exact moment, the wooden box on the floor opened itself. Something round rolled out from inside. I slowly looked down, and the moment I saw it, my entire body went cold because it was a human head, and its eyes were staring directly at me.